All right, welcome everybody to Hooligans Underground, standing room only,
Yay!
Laugh
Hey,
Central.
Thank you.
woohoo!
We're gonna have some funnies tonight. All right, I'm gonna start us off with one right here, and this is about Thibodeau and Boudreaux. All right, one night a torrential rain soaked southern Louisiana, and the next morning the resulting floodwaters came up to about 6 foot into most of the homes there.
Hmm.
Now Miss Boudreaux was sitting on her roof with her neighbor, Miss Thibodeau. Now we know them as Marie and Clotilde. And it was waiting to help. I done lost my spot. They was sitting up on the roof waiting on the the army people to come with the helicopters to take them out. Now Miss Thibodeau noticed a baseball cap floating around the house in the front yard. Then she saw it float far out near where the street is. And it floated back over to the house, then back out to the street again, and back out to the house again. Now her curiosity done got the best of her, so she asked Marie. She said, "You see that there baseball cap floating around out the house out there?" Yeah, Marie said, "Oh yeah, that's Boudreaux. I told that coon ass he gonna cut that grass one way or the other, come hell or high water." I think I told that one once before. Yeah.
I don't remember it.
I don't
No.
recall it. Right.
I don't think so.
All right, here we go. Boudreaux and Thibodeau was out tending the still and sipping their newly minted moonshine. Now Boudreaux got drunk and puked all over himself.
Ugh.
So he tells Tibbs, "Man, my wife is gonna kill me because this is a brand new shirt."
Oh.
Now Thibodeau says, "Put $10 in your pocket. Tell her I threw up on you, and the money is to buy a new shirt." Now Boudreaux's wife meets him at the front door when he comes home that night, and she got that cast iron skillet in her hand. She said, "You drunken son of a bitch! Look at yourself. You done barfed all over your brand new shirt. I ought to smack you upside the head." Now Boudreaux explains. He said, "Now Marie, calm down. Thibodeau got sick, and he threw up all over me, and he gave me this $10 bill to get a new shirt." Now Boudreaux's wife reaches in his pocket and she pulls out two $10 bills. She said, "There's 20 in here, not 10, Boudreaux." Now Boudreaux said, "Oh, I almost forgot. He crapped my pantses too."
That just ain't right.
That just ain't right. Bad enough he barfed, but then he crapped himself.
That was a shitty joke.
Said chitty, huh? All right, I'm gonna do one more and then let somebody else come up here. And this one, y'all remember last week I introduced y'all to Pierre. Now
Hmm?
I don't know where
Yeah.
Pierre come from, but all of a sudden he's up in all these jokes.
Okay, good.
So Pierre and Boudreaux was flying Cajun Airlines down to the Mardi Gras down in New Orleans. Now Boudreaux was flying the plane, and Pierre was in the back, fooling with the cargo and the equipment, that stuff back there. Now the plane hit some turbulence and started bouncing around, and Boudreaux got knocked unconscious. Then the plane started drifting. Now Pierre come run up to the front of Boudreaux and was sprawled out all over the steering wheel. Boudreaux was. Well, Pierre don't know nothing about flying no airplane, but he was starting to get a little panicky. Now he grabbed the microphone and hollered out, "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday, this is Cajun Air 90210. Boudreaux, him knocked unconscious and I don't know how to fly this dang plane, no." Now all of a sudden, crackling out the speaker come, "This is the control tower. Don't you worry about nothing. We're going to explain to you how to land that plane. Step by step, we're going to get you down here, boy. Now just leave everything to us. Now, how high are you and what's your position?" Now Pierre thought for a minute, then he said, "I'm 5'10" and I'm all day way to the front of the airplane. All the way up to the front, yeah. "No, no, no," answered the tower. "What's your attitude and where your location?" Pierre said, "Man, right now I got a po attitude." and I'm from Thibodeau. Damn. No, 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 says the radio again. I needs to know how many feet you got off the ground and how your plane is in relation to the airport. Attitude. Now Pierre, he starts to panic by this time. He says, counting Boudreaux's feet, in my two, we got 4 feet off the ground, and I don't believe this plane related to your airport at all. A long pause, then silence, then come out the radio. We needs to know who your next of kin is now. Because he obviously ain't going to get them down out the plane.
So long, chumps.
Kind of wonder where Thibodeau was with all that, though. I mean, usually Thibodeau's right up there. I think Thibodeau was down in that control tower. All right, open mic. Who's up? Anybody?
Come on, baby.
I can
All
go.
right, I will. If nobody
All right,
else is
everybody
yelling out,
jump at one
I'll come
time
up
now.
there and sit down, and you move your little ass out from front of
All
there,
right,
and
I'm
I'll
moving.
just do mine.
I'm moving.
Okay.
You're
These are horrible jokes. Horrible, horrible.
Move here and
The
hang out
Smiths
by
have
myself
no
for a few
kids.
minutes.
The Smiths
You know,
decide to use
I'm
a
Papa,
proxy
by the way.
father to start their family. And on the day that the proxy father is supposed to arrive, Mr. Smith kisses his wife and says, I'm off, my darling. This man should be here soon. Well, a half hour later, just by chance, a door-to-door baby photographer rings the doorbell, wanting to make a sale. Good morning, madam. You don't know me, but I've come to... Oh, no, she says. No need to explain. I've been expecting you. Oh, really? The photographer asked. Well, good. I've made a specialty of babies. Well, that's what my husband and I hoped. Please come in and have a seat. Just where do we start? She blushes. Well, just leave everything to me, the guy says. I usually try to do 2 in the bathtub, 1 on the couch, and perhaps a couple on the bed. Sometimes the living room floor is fun, too. You can really spread out. Bathtub? Living room floor? Well, no wonder it didn't work for Harry and me. Well, madam, none of us can guarantee a good one every time, but if we try several different positions, and I shoot from 6 or 7 angles, I'm sure you'll be pleased with the results. Oh, I hope we can get this over with quickly, she gasps. Madam, in my line of work, a man must take his time. I'd love to be in and out in 5 minutes, but you'll be disappointed with that if I did it, I'm sure. Well, don't I know it, said Mrs. Smith. So the photographer opens his briefcase and pulls out a portfolio of his baby pictures. Now, this one here was done on top of a bus in the middle of London. Oh, my God, Mrs. Smith said, tugging at her handkerchief. Yep. And these twins here, they turned out exceptionally well when you consider their mother was so difficult to work with. And he handed Mrs. Smith the picture. Oh, she was difficult? asked Mrs. Smith. Yes, I'm afraid so, the guy says. I finally had to take her to Hyde Park to get the job done right. People were crowding around 4 and 5 deep, pushing to get a good look. 4 and 5 deep? Her eyes were wide in amazement. Yes, the photographer says. And for more than 3 hours, too. The mother was constantly squealing and yelling. I could hardly concentrate, and then darkness approached, and I began to rush my shots. Finally, when the squirrels began nibbling on my equipment, I just packed it all in. Mrs. Smith leaned forward. You mean they actually chewed on your equipment?
Oh,
That's right, madam. If you're ready, I'm going to set up my tripod so we can get to work. Tripod? Now she looks really upset. Oh, yes. I've got to use a tripod to rest my cannon on. It's much too big for me to hold while I'm getting ready for action. Madam? Madam? Good Lord, she fainted.
That was one hell of a photo session.
Yeah, too bad it wasn't the proxy dad. Okay, I wonder when he showed up. A professor was sent to the darkest of Africa to live with a primitive tribe, and he spends years with them, teaching them reading, writing, math, science. And one day, the wife of the tribe's chief gave birth to a white child. The members of the tribe are shocked, and the chief pulls the professor aside and says, "Look here. You are the only white man we have ever seen, and this woman gave birth to a white child. It doesn't take a genius to work out what happened." The professor thinks quickly. "Well, no, Chief. You're mistaken. What you have here is a natural occurrence. What we in the civilized world call an albino. Look at that field over there. All the sheep are white except for one black one. Nature does this on occasion." The chief is silent for a moment, and then the chief says, "I tell you what. You don't say anything more about the sheep, and I won't say anything more about the baby."
Our little secret.
After a few years of married life, this guy finds he's unable to perform anymore. He goes to his doctor, and his doctor tries a few things, but nothing works. Finally, the doctor says, "Look, this is all in your mind," and he then refers him to a psychiatrist. But after a few visits to the shrink says, "Look, I'm at a loss as to how you could possibly get cured." And finally, the psychiatrist refers him to a witch doctor. Well, the witch doctor says, "I can cure this." And he throws some powder on a flame. There's a flash with a billowing blue smoke. The witch doctor says, "This is powerful healing, but you can only use it once a year. All you have to do is say 1, 2, 3, and it shall rise for as long as you wish." The guy then asks the witch doctor, "What happens when it's over?" And the witch doctor says, "All you or your partner has to say is 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will go down. But be warned, it will not work again for a whole year." So the guy goes home for that night. He's all ready to surprise his wife with the good news. He's lying in bed with her, and he says, 1, 2, 3. And he gets a big erection, and his wife turns over and goes, "What did you say, 1, 2, 3, 4?
Take a minute for that one to sink in.
A representative for a condom company is on her way to an international condom convention. I guess they have these. While rushing through the airport, she drops the briefcase carrying all her samples, scattering the condoms across the floor. She notices a passerby looking at her as she's trying to get the condoms back in her briefcase. "It's okay," she says. "I'm going to a convention." And I'm going to have a good fucking time, too. Excuse me. All right. So if you didn't get that one, yeah.
I got it.
Okay. A beautiful woman loves growing tomatoes, but she can't seem to get her tomatoes to turn red. So one day, while taking a stroll, she comes upon a male neighbor who has the most gorgeous garden full of huge red tomatoes. And she says, "What do you do to get your tomatoes so red?" And the man says, "Well, twice a day, I stand in front of my tomato garden and I expose myself. And my tomatoes, they all turn red from blushing so much." Well, the woman's so impressed, she decides to try doing the same thing to her tomato garden to see if it works. So twice a day for 2 weeks, she exposes herself to her garden, hoping for the best. And one day, the man's passing by and he asks the woman, "By the way, how'd you make out? Did your tomatoes turn red?" "No," she said, "but my cucumbers are enormous." Enormous tits. Did you get that one? Yeah, while he was in the playground with his buddy, Alex noticed Jimmy was wearing a brand new shiny watch on his wrist. "Did you get that for your birthday?" he asked Alex. Ask Alex. "No," Jimmy said. "Well, did you get it for Christmas?" And Jimmy says, "Nope." "You didn't steal it, did you?" said Alex. "Nope," says Jimmy. "I went to Mom and Dad's bedroom the other night when they were doing the nasty. Dad gave me his watch to get rid of me." Alex was really impressed with that idea, so he was real jealous of Jimmy's new watch, so he vowed he was going to get one for himself. So that night, he waited outside his parents' room until he heard unmistakable noises of lovemaking, and just then he opened the door wide open and boldly walked in the room. His father was caught in mid-stroke and turns and says, "What do you want now?" Alex says, "I want a watch." Without missing a stroke, the father says, fine, just stand in the corner and watch, but keep quiet. His mom and dad are taking their young son to a circus, and the elephants appear, and the son's intrigued. He turns to his mom and says, Mom, what is that hanging between the elephant's legs? The mom's real embarrassed. She goes, oh, it's nothing, son. So then the son turns to his dad and he asks the same question. The father says, it's the elephant's penis, son. So the son says, why did Mom say nothing? And the father draws himself up and says proudly, because I've spoiled your mother, son. The man and his little son are in the chemist when the son comes across the condoms and asks his dad, what are these? And the dad says, well, son, those are condoms, and they're for protection when you're having sex. So the son picks up one of the packs and asks why it has 3 condoms in it. The dad says, well, those are for high school boys. One for Friday, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. So then the son picks up one with 6 condoms, and he goes, why 6? And the dad says, well, son, those are for university students. 2 for Friday, 2 for Saturday, and 2 for Sunday. Then the son sees a 12-pack of condoms, and he asks the same question. And the dad says, son, those are for married men. One for January, one for February, one for March. John took his blind date to the carnival. He says, what do you want to do first, Kim? I want to get weighed, says the girl. And they amble over to the weight guesser, and the man says 110. She gets on the scale, and it says 108. So she wins the prize. Next, the couple gets on the Ferris wheel. When the ride's over, he asks Kim what she wants to do. She says, I want to get weighed. He goes back to the weight guesser, and they go back again. Since they've been there before, the man guesses the correct weight, and John loses his $1. Then they walk around some more, and he asks what she wants to do next, and she says, I want to get weighed. And this time, John thinks she's really weird, and he takes her home early and drops her off with a handshake. Kim's roommate, Laura, said, how'd it go? Kim says, oh, werwa, it was so wowsy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 2 lovers are really into spiritualism and reincarnation, and they vow if either dies, the one remaining will try to contact the partner on the other world exactly 30 days after their death. Unfortunately, a few weeks later, the young man dies in a car crash. True to her word, his sweetheart tried to contact him in the spirit world exactly 30 days later. And at the seance, she calls out, John, this is Martha. Do you hear me? And a ghostly voice says, yes, Martha, this is John. I can hear you. Unlike Second Life, okay. Martha tearfully asks, oh, John, what is it like where you are? It's great. There are azure skies, a soft breeze, sunshine most of the time. The grass is green and the cows have beautiful eyes. Well, what do you do all day? Asked Martha. Well, Martha, we get up before sunrise, we eat a good breakfast, then there's nothing but making love till noon. After lunch, we nap till 2, and then we make love again until about 5. After dinner, we go at it again, and then we fall asleep about 11 at night. Martha's taken aback. Is that what heaven's really like? Heaven? I'm not in heaven, Martha. What? Well, then where are you? I'm a bull on a stud farm.
Living the life.
I'm due one more. A young man showing off his new sports car to his girlfriend. She's thrilled at the speed. If I do 250 miles an hour, will you take your clothes off? He smirks. Okay, his adventurous girlfriend says. As he gets up to 250 miles an hour, she peels off all her clothes. Unable to keep his eyes on the road, his car skids on some gravel, flips over, and the naked girl's thrown clear, but the boyfriend is jammed beneath the steering wheel. Go get help, he cries. But I can't, I'm naked and my clothes are gone. Take my shoe, he says, and cover yourself. Holding the shoe over her privates, the girl runs down the road and finds a service station. Still holding the shoe between her legs, she pleads to the service station proprietor for help. Please, help me, my boyfriend's stuck. The proprietor looks at the shoe and says, there's nothing I can do, he's in too far. And that's all I got for tonight, boys and girls.
All right, baby.
All
That
right,
was
Big Ample
beautiful.
Wine.
That was beautiful, baby.
You boy done went too deep. All right. Yeah, y'all remember when that oil rig burned up down there in down the Gulf of Mexico? They said there
Uh-huh.
was a crisis in the Gulf. Now, so Boudreaux and Thibodeau that day they were sitting in the bar drinking, and they seen us come up on the news. Crisis in the Gulf. Loud. I mean, just blasting. Now Boudreaux, she says he quit drinking. He went home. He took a bath. He quit chasing women. He quit playing poker with the boys.
Hmm.
He started cutting the grass around the church. He even painted the church, and it was faithful to be the first to attend every Sunday for church service. Now, Father Pierre asked him what about this wonderful change that done overtook Boudreaux.
Father
So
Pierre.
Boudreaux had to explain. He says, "I heard there's a crisis in the Gulf. Now, if crisis is in the Gulf, that's pretty damn close. I figure I better be good because he
Christ
could do
is in the
anything."
Gulf. Christ is in the Gulf.
Oh, God.
Now y'all know Boudreaux and Thibodeau are neighbors down there on the bayou, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they kind of like live on a farm. They got animals, chickens, pigs, cows, stuff like that. Now Boudreaux and Thibodeau down there in Bro Bridge, Boudreaux needed to go milk the cow. Now he went to go milk that cow and he didn't get nothing out the teats. It's empty, dead, dry, nothing.
Uh,
So now Boudreaux got to go buy him a new milk cow. And he hears about a nice one over for sale down at Church Point. So he gets in his pick 'em up truck and he drives over to Church Point. He looks at the cow and he reaches under there to see if she can give milk. Now when he grabs her closest teat and he pulls, the cow farted. Now Boudreaux is pretty surprised by this. He turns, he looks at the farmer who's selling the cow, and he reaches under the cow to try it again. Now this time he grabbed another teat a little further away, and he pulled down on that teat. The cow farted again. Now milk did come out this time, and he tried it one more time, and again the cow farted. The milk squirted. So really, it's all good. All right. So after some negotiations, Boudreaux decided to go ahead and buy that cow and take it home. Now Boudreaux called up his neighbor Thibodeau and he said, "Come in, look at this new cow I just bought. Pull her teeth, see what happens." Boudreaux think this shit's funny, yeah. So Thibodeau reaches down underneath that cow and he pulls on that teat and boop, cow farts. And Thibodeau look up at Boudreaux and he said, "Man, did you buy this cow down at Church Point?" Now Boudreaux pretty surprised by that. How did Tib know that? "That's right, Tib. How did you know?" Thibodeau said, "Man, just like my wife, she from Church Point." Hey, I told y'all I'm getting down to the bottom of the barrel here. Some of these are the ones I passed up once or twice before. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna call for a open mic. All right, 6 retired Cajun coon asses were playing bourrée down at the Bayou Tech clubhouse when Thibodeau lost $500 on a single hand. Now Thibodeau clutches his chest, drop dead right there on the table. Dead. Okay. I mean, just think if you lost $500 playing bourrée, you probably gonna die too. Now, showing respect for their fallen comrade, The other 5 respectfully stand at the table while finishing playing their game. And Ofano looks around and asks, "Now, who going to be the one to tell his wife?" Well, nobody wanted to go tell Clotilde about this, right? So they draw straws. Boudreaux picked the short straw,
Mm-mm.
of course. So they say, "Now, Boudreaux, you're going to have to be discreet. You're going to have to be gentle. And don't go and make a bad situation worse. Be good to the woman. Be nice." Gentlemen, discreet. Y'all, I'm the most discreet person that you ever done to meet. Discretion is my middle name. You leave it to me. I got this. I got it. All right. Now, Boudreaux, next couple of hours later, Boudreaux passes on down to Thibodeau's house. And he mows it up and knocked on the door. And Clotilde answers. Now, Clotilde said, "What you want, Boudreaux?" Boudreaux said, Thibodeau done lost $500, and now he's scared to come home." Man, she hollers out through the doors. "You tell that no good Cajun I hope he drop dead." Boudreaux said, "Okay, Chef, I'm going to go tell him." And that's that.
That worked.
All right. These are funny in my mind. I guess they kind of funny, huh? All right, who's up? Open mic.
Come on, feller.
I will.
Gleesa. Yay!
All right.
All
All right,
Gleesa.
Gleesa.
Gleesa. Come on up, Gleesa.
Everybody, big hand for Gleesa. Welcome.
Yay, Glee! Yay, go girl!
There we go. I'm
Come
gonna
on.
pull a little of my real life into SL. I was fortunate to get one of those letters from the county court to serve.
Mmm.
So I have to do jury duty, and I'm not all that excited about it. So I'm gonna try and pull from that and make some fun of it. So I had to go to court this month, and I screamed about my innocence and begged for mercy. I did not get picked for the jury.
She's in jail right now while she's speaking.
What do you call jury duty in Australia? Jury duty.
Lenny.
Jury duty. Yeah, kind of dumb. I would get a boo if my Australian pal was here. He would boo me right now.
Seeker is here.
Oh, he
Seen
is?
him. He just poofed in a minute ago.
Just moved in?
Yep.
Hey, Seeker.
I'm Seeker.
Hey.
And did you hear about the boat doc that committed murder? He's going to be judged by a jury of his peers.
Oh,
Cute.
A defendant was on trial for murder, and there was a strong evidence indicating guilt, but no body had been found. When giving the closing statement, the high-flying lawyer knew there was a good chance of the man being convicted. Lawyer states, "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I have a surprise for you all. Within 1 minute, the person presumed dead will walk into this courtroom." And the lawyer turned and pointed to the door. The jurors were stunned and all looked eagerly at the door. A minute passed and nothing happened. Finally, the lawyer said, "I made up that previous statement, but you all looked on in anticipation. Therefore, you have a reasonable doubt in this case as to whether anyone was killed, and I insist you return a verdict of not guilty." The jury retired to deliberate, and after a few minutes later, the jury returned with a verdict of guilty. But how? Inquired the lawyer. You must have some doubt. I saw you all stare at the door. Oh, we did, said the foreman of the jury, but your client didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got that one.
Mm-hmm. Perry Mason.
Yeah. And I was called up for jury duty, but luckily it didn't last too long. It was a brief case. And this is my last one. What I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to beg the judge to let me off jury duty because of my job. But I'm kind of sure he's going to. I'm kind of sure he's going to say, your company can get along without you for a few days, and I'm going to say, I know that. I don't want that to be them to realize it.
Good idea.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, Gleesa.
Oh my Gleesa.
Yay.
Hi, Francisco.
Way to go, Gleesa.
Hey.
Hey, Sika. How's it going, buddy?
Sika.
Yeah, it's going.
Hug seeker.
Hugs all the ladies and...
It helps when I turn on my microphone,
Other guys.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I was wondering
I done
what the
told
hell you
half
were
this
doing.
joke.
Are you done, Glee?
Let me start over.
What do you think I'm standing in front of you
Okay.
for?
Alright, so y'all, Boudreaux went duck hunting and he ran into the wildlife and fisheries agent. Some of y'all call that the game warden. We call him the
Mhm.
agent.
SW.
Now, the game warden, he wanted to find him. You know how they are. They need money. Alright, so this warden comes up on Boudreaux and he goes in to check his kills. You know, he want to see what he got. Now the game warden, he sticks his finger in one of the duck's buttholes and he smells it. Game warden looks at Boudreaux and he says, "That's an Oregon duck, sir. Do you have an Oregon hunting permit?" Now Boudreaux say, "Yes, sir." And he pulled it out of his back pocket and he shows it, Oregon permit. Right there, though. Right there. All right. Now, so the warden does the same thing with another duck. Sticks his finger in that duck's butt, pulls it out, takes a whiff. He said, "This here duck, this one's from Washington. You got a Washington permit?" Now Boudreaux, now he reaches down in that other pocket and he pulls out his permit. Washington. Washington permit, officer. Got it. All right. Now the warden stuck his finger up yet another duck's butt and he smelled it. And he said, "Well, this here smells like a Canadian duck. Do you got your Canadian permit?" Now Boudreaux reached in his front pocket, pulled it way down and pulled out another permit. Now this one said Canada. Man, that Boudreaux, he's prepared, huh? Now this is pretty much this is pissing off the warden. The warden thought he was going to have some quick, easy money right there. Now he's all angry. Now, just where the hell are you from, boy? You know, all these permits. Now Boudreaux pulled down his pants, bend over, stick his ass over at the warden, and says, "Well, you the expert. You tell me." Crazy
You
ass
dirty
coon
boy.
asses, huh?
Gonna
Now,
make
while
an
we
ass
on
out
the
of him.
topic of ducks,
Oh.
I got another one, got some duck stuff in it. Now, Boudreaux done rushed down to Dr. Robichaux's office carrying a duck. Now, he gently placed the duck on the examination table, and it lay there limp and not moving. "Doc, you gotta help my duck." Now, Doc Robichaud looked at the duck and shook his head. "Boudreaux, your duck is dead." Doc, you got to do something. Run some tests, take some blood, do something. All right, Dr. Robichaux says. Now the doc whistles, and a large black Labrador retriever came in. The dog sniffed at the duck from all sides, looked at the doc, shook his head side to side, and left the room. Now the doc made a clicking sound with his tongue, and a gray cat came in. Cat jumped up on the table, watched the duck for a couple. You know how cats are; they just kind of stare at things, right? Looked at the duck, turned over to the doc, shook his head from side to side, and casually walked back out the doctor's office. Now the doc says, "Boudreaux, your duck is dead. That'll be $125." Damn, Boudreaux said, "Man, that's a lot of money just for you to tell me my duck is dead." "Boudreaux, I examined the duck and I told you it was dead. That would have been $10. You the one that demanded the lab work and the CAT scan." I thought that was funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the doctor's office too, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more. Now, Boudreaux's wife, she done come home one night. Boudreaux is sick with worry. Let me re-say that in case y'all didn't understand. Boudreaux's wife don't come home one night. Now, Boudreaux is sick with worry.
Well,
3 days later, Thibodeau comes to Boudreaux's door and he says, "I got you some good news. I got you some bad news, Boudreaux." Now, Boudreaux said, "Man, I'm a man. Give me the bad news first." "All right, we just found Marie dead, floating face down in Bayou Lafourche." Boudreaux said, "Man, what could be the good news after something like that?" Thibodeau said, "Well, the good news is that we packed 2 hampers of crabs off her ass, and we're going to run her again tonight."
Awesome. That's good.
Oh,
I
man.
told y'all I'm digging deep for these. I'm digging deep.
Yeah.
A month ago, I wouldn't have read
Underwater.
that at all. A
That's
month
so
ago,
bad.
it wouldn't even have got printed. All right. Who got a couple? Give me a break.
Fiddler, are you doing some tonight? Come
Yeah,
on,
I'm
buddy.
gonna do. I'm gonna do just a
Come
few.
on.
Okay.
All
Come
right.
on,
Just a
buddy.
couple. Come on
Oh,
up
you
here,
won't?
Fiddler. Everybody, big round. Big
Yay,
round.
Fiddler!
All right, Fiddler,
Yay!
come on up, bud.
Get up there, buddy.
You can steal my seat. How's everyone doing?
We good,
All
boy.
right.
Bud?
Good.
Great, Fiddler.
Well, I have a couple of old one-liners by one of my favorites, Red Skelton.
Oh,
my
boy.
Remember him?
He was good. He was a good
Okay.
one.
Well, obviously I can't imitate him, so I'm gonna do it my way.
Well, obviously.
Obviously. All right, here we go. All men make mistakes, but married men find out about them sooner. That's true. I'm nuts and I know it. But so long as I make them laugh, they ain't gonna lock me up.
That's true.
Congress, bingo with billions.
Bingo. Yeah, exactly.
She ran after the garbage truck, yelling, "Am I too late for the garbage?" The driver said, "No, jump in." I married Mrs. Wright. I just didn't know her first name was always. A friend of mine told me he was going to hang glider school. He said, "I've been going there for 3 months." I asked him, I said, "How many successful jumps do you need to make it before you graduate?" He said, "All of them, fuckhead."
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, oh.
Exercise, I get in on the golf course when I see one of my friends collapse or someone, I run for the paramedics.
Thank you.
That's my exercise. She has an electric blender, an electric toaster, an electric bread maker. She said there are too many gadgets and no place to sit down, so I bought her an electric chair. I haven't spoken to my wife in 18 months. I don't want to interrupt her. My wife told me the car wasn't running well because there was water in the carburetor. I asked where it was. She told me in the lake. I asked my wife where she wanted to go for our anniversary. She says, somewhere I haven't been in a long, long time. So I suggested the kitchen.
I was gonna say the bed.
Remember, marriage is the #1 cause of divorce. Heard about the young deaf boy who uses sign language? One day he told his mother a dirty joke and she washed his hands out with soap. 2 times a week we go to a nice restaurant and have a little beverage, good food, and companionship. She goes on Tuesdays, I go on Fridays. We also sleep in different beds. Hers is in California, mine's in Texas. I take my wife everywhere, but she keeps finding her way back. We always hold hands. If I let go, she shops.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
She got a mud pack and looked great for 2 days. Then the mud fell off. And my last one is, the last fight was my fault, though. My wife asked, what's on TV? I said, dust.
Stuff.
That's a good way to
Exactly. Thank you, everybody.
get it. Yay, Fiddler me.
It was
And
awesome.
thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for their jokes.